You're 8 years old, scrubbing fish guts behind your father's food stall in Edo 1702. Your hands sting from the cold water. Your kimono smells like mackerel and grease. And your father just scolded you for spilling vinegar on a customer again. The alley hums with flies and old smoke. You smell like lunch, not a person. But no one's paid attention to you long enough to care. Until today. 2 women appear, and they do not belong here. Their robes shimmer like koi fish. Their hair is sculpted into glossy shapes that could double as armor, and their faces are painted pale like porcelain dolls. One kneels in front of you, tilts your chin up, and examines your teeth like you're fruit in the market. She turns her hands over, checks your nails, your wrists, your ears. You try to stay still. You flinch anyway, and she smiles. The second woman hands your father a pouch so heavy, it makes a thud when it lands in his palm. You don't understand until he avoids your eyes. He doesn't even speak, not even when you say his name. By sundown, you're behind the red gates of Yoshiwara, the sealed pleasure district of Edo. You walk through streets glowing with lantern light and crowded with silk, laughter, and perfume. Yoshiwara doesn't allow the outside world in after dark, and it doesn't let anyone out. It has its own rules, rhythm, and air. You've never seen so many people pretending to be happy all at once. You're told your name is no longer yours. From now on, you're Kamuro, a child attendant in a high-ranking Oiran house. You're not there to be raised. You're there to be polished. You serve tea, carry trays, fold towels, and sleep curled at the foot of your senior's futon like a house cat she didn't ask for. You learn to wake when she wakes, dress when she dresses, and anticipate what she wants before she says it. You're invisible until you mess up. Then you're a nuisance. Your senior is a Taiyu, one of the highest-ranking Oiran in Yoshiwara. Taiyu are not just courtesans. They're cultural symbols. They speak in elegant poetry, play multiple instruments, and wear outfits so elaborate they need help walking through doorways. When your Taiyu enters a room, men bow. Women stare as she moves like she's gliding, and she terrifies you. You watch everything she does, how she lowers her eyes, how she picks up her fan, how she smiles without giving anything away. You memorize her habits. You dream of becoming her, and fear it just as much. By 13, you've been promoted to Shinzo, an apprentice Oiran. Your training begins in earnest. You study tea ceremony, ink painting, etiquette, dance, and music. You learn to play the shamisen until your fingers blister and bleed. You memorize classic Chinese literature and the tale of Genji. You learn to walk so softly the floor doesn't creak, to kneel for hours without moving, to pour sake with such grace it looks like wind passing over water. You're not allowed to laugh openly. You must smile without showing teeth. You must always speak in the soft, high register expected of women in Yoshiwara. Refined, delicate, rehearsed. When you're 16, the house matron wakes you before dawn. It's time. Your debut walk, the Oiran Dochu, has been arranged. 2 assistants help you into a furisode kimono so heavy it might crush your spine. Its sleeves drag behind you like waterfalls. Your obi is tied in the front, a visible sign that you are available for purchase. Your hair is styled into a towering lacquered construction, decorated with dozens of gold pins and tortoiseshell combs. The weight alone gives you a headache that no one cares about. Your feet are strapped into komageta, wooden sandals nearly 6 inches high. You train for this walk, but every step still feels like punishment. You move slowly, deliberately, like time itself. Crowds gather along the street, and they can't take their eyes off you. Women want to be you, while men want to get you. You can't feel anything other than the heavy kimono dragging you down. But that's when it hits you. You're not a girl anymore. You are a product. When the walk ends, the real event begins. Your mizuage, the ceremonial loss of your virginity, is auctioned to the highest bidder. The man who wins is older than your father. His hands shake as he signs the contract. He doesn't speak to you, just stares like he's acquired a treasure. That night, you do as you're told. You lie still, keep your eyes open and mouth closed. You still don't feel anything. You suppressed your feelings when your father handed you in exchange for gold coins. So this night is still not the worst night of your life. And when it's over, you bathe, paint your face, and return to the parlor. Because now, you're a Taiyu, a full Oiran. And this is when the real performance begins. Your fame spreads fast. You walk in the evening parade, clacking through the street on your komageta while people wait hours for a glimpse. You host banquets where wealthy men flatter you with poetry and overpriced gifts. They write haikus about your eyes, your voice, your walk. One sends you a bonsai trimmed in your likeness. Another tries to gift you a piece of land. A third sends his severed pinky finger. You keep the tree, you burn the latter. In the banquets, you sit half concealed behind a gold leaf screen. You drink sake only when required. You laugh only when it's useful. You listen to men talk about politics, trade, their mothers, and pretend like every word is a revelation. You flatter their poetry, their swordsmanship, their cologne. You touch their hands only when the room demands it. And yet, there is power here. Unlike lower-ranked courtesans, you can say no. If a man disgusts you or bores you, you can politely refuse. Most won't risk the shame of rejection. You spend your 20s being worshipped. Your calendar is booked weeks in advance. Your name becomes synonymous with elegance. But then, the silence creeps in. The younger Shinzo are prettier, fresher, and of course, faster. They laugh harder, bow deeper. You notice when your name is bumped off a guest list, when your fan doesn't get a second glance. And then you begin to think the unthinkable. Freedom. But freedom has a price tag. Every meal you were served, every kimono you wore, every music lesson, sandal, and hair ornament, it's all debt. You've been working for years, and you haven't even paid off your own shoes. Some Taiyu marry out. A rich patron falls in love, redeems your contract, and offers a new life. But most fade into the background. They become house mothers, trainers, or disappear into private rooms no one enters anymore. You choose to keep performing. You perfect your act. You get better at guessing what each man wants. You laugh a little longer, smile a little softer. You pour tea for men who couldn't find your district without a map and a personal guide. And sometimes, a young client looks at you, not with lust, but with recognition. And for a moment, you forget to pretend. Then he leaves, and the mask returns. Years later, the Meiji Restoration era slams into Edo like a cannonball. Japan opens to the west, and the samurai vanish. This is when Christianity arrives. Geisha take over as the preferred entertainers. They are simpler, more modern, and less intimidating. People forget what an Oiran was. You hear tourists confuse the names. They point at an old painting of you and say geisha. You say nothing. You are trained to be silent. Eventually, your name disappears from the registry. Your sandals are boxed, your ornaments tucked away. You're not remembered by crowds or clients, but by the flicker of a lantern, the sound of a shamisen string, the way a painted smile holds steady through pain. You weren't just beautiful. You weren't just trained. You were curated and calculated, the most expensive illusion Japan ever built. Still think geisha had it rough? Watch Your Life as a Geisha next, because if you thought 6-inch wooden sandals were bad, just wait until you meet the neck pillow.